So recently, a couple weeks ago, the latest installment of the Star Wars franchise came out, the controversial Last Jedi, where people either loved it or hated it. Critics loved it. It's not like some of the other movies that people didn't like, which was kind of like maybe poorly written or poorly acted or whatever. This one, people I think just didn't like the way the story went, or people loved the way the story went. I think Dr. Carl and I both liked the movie.
I liked it very much.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
I mean, it had classic themes, a lot of energy, a lot of action.
Yeah.
Great characters, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, I liked it. And they even kind of snub the nerds in the eye in lots of parts of the movie where they want to know certain things. Like, no, it didn't matter. But there will be no spoilers in the film, but there is I'm sitting there watching the movie with my wife and my buddy Oscar, and we're watching it, and I was like, oh my God, that's straight out of the Tao Te Ching. Oh my, like all the Tao parts. My buddy Oscar really isn't into it, and my wife is tired of hearing me talk. So I'm just sitting there by myself going, oh my God, there's so much Tao stuff in here. I got to talk about this on the show. And so I'm going to play clips that I got illegally. Come sue me, MPAA. We're promoting the film.
Yeah, that's right.
Promoting the film. But I downloaded some bootleg clips of the movie, and we're going to listen to them here. And this is, so there's a scene, no spoilers. You can listen to this even if you haven't seen the movie. Where, because, you know, at the end of The Force Awakens, if you're a Star Wars fan, Rey, our heroine, finds the elusive Luke Skywalker on an island. I forget what it's called, like something or something in Hebrew. And they're out on the island, and then he tries to start kind of training her as Yoda did to him. And so, you know, they're talking about the Force, and in this first clip, Luke says something very, very Taoist about the Force. So here we go.
Master Skywalker, we need you to bring the Jedi back because Kylo Ren is strong with the dark side of the Force. Without the Jedi, we won't stand a chance against him.
What do you know about the Force?
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong. Lesson 1. Sit here, legs crossed. The Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things, a tension, a balance that binds the universe together.
Okay. But what is it?
Close your eyes. Breathe. Now, reach out.
So I like that at first kind of Rey, even though she experiences the Force and everything, she experiences that as a kind of her power. Right, and then Luke says, no, it's more of a wu-wei thing, where it's the power that's already there, and you're just using it, and you're manifesting it, which is the ultimate Taoist idea, where maybe if you just thought of the way and its power in the first way, you think, oh, this is my strength coming directly out of me versus me using the house rules. I always think of Taoism, I'm trying to figure out a simple way of saying it when people who don't know ask me about it, which rarely happens, but if they do, like, what's this podcasting you do? That it's playing with the house rules, like in a casino, right? And the house rules, the universe's rules, and the universe's energy goes this way. And if we use it, we can find tremendous power in harnessing it.
Yes, yes. In fact, I was just speaking with someone the other day about these laws of nature. You know, there are laws of nature, and we cannot violate them with impunity.
Yeah.
That is, you know, we're really talking about, again, this force. We're really talking about this quantum field, you know, like he said, that connects everything. And also, we are composed. We're part of the field.
Right.
We're part of this matrix. You know, we everything that is part of everything that is.
Right.
And is connected to everything that is. And the Jedi learned how to align themselves with that, much like the ancient Taoist masters did, align themselves with that in order to assist nature maintaining balance.
Right.
Often they were called, like the Jedi, they're called Jedi what? Warriors.
Yeah.
Right?
And the knights. Yeah.
Warriors, Jedi warriors.
Yeah.
And the ancient Taoists, many of them knew, Chinese martial arts, right? They knew Kung Fu and Tai Chi and things, right? In fact, people think of Tai Chi as this slow-moving kind of, yogic-like dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the word Tai Chi Chuan means the grand ultimate fist.
Right.
Meaning this is a fighting art. Now, it's done learning how to move in harmony with others so you don't create conflict. But by moving in harmony with others from your own sense of stability, your own center, that puts you at an advantage, right? In a combative situation or in a cooperative situation, where your balance in sync with another person's balance creates a greater entity, a greater creative expression that then becomes something bigger than the two of you individually, or 3 or 10 or whatever number of people are involved in a creative project. You might say that's learning how to do the Tai Chi and in fact, there's a process, there's an exercise in Tai Chi called push hands, where you don't really push hands with each other. You synchronize your movements with each other, almost like synchronized swimming or something, where you learn how to move in harmony with another person. You learn how to take what could be a conflict and turn it into something that's cooperative.
And then more power, like a synergistic energy effect.
Exactly.
In the movie, there's a funny thing. And again, this is not going to spoil anything, but there is Kylo Ren on the dark side who is kind of questioning his allegiance to the dark side and that type of the Force. Then you have Rey on the other side, who is part of the light side of the Force, but also is unsure of her place in the world.
Right.
And in a certain way, they're almost trying to meld their energies together. Do they or do they not? You'll see it in the preview that this is a conflict in the movie. And do they come together and create this synergistic power?
Yes.
Out of it, which is very similar to the Tai Chi Chuan that you were discussing.
Yes.
Now let's see. I have another clip here. Which is so after that, Luke gets Rey to start kind of meditating on this island, and then she kind of starts the funny thing is that in meditation we go within, right? In Star Wars here, the Jedis are reaching out. Now, is there a meditative practice? Do you know? Is there anyone in any kind of meditative tradition where people reach out? I mean, there's also things like astral projection or whatever, where people project themselves out of their body, which... no spoilers. But, you know what I'm saying? There's an astral projection thing.
Yeah, been there, done that, yes.
Right. Okay, so there are ways that through meditation we could almost do this kind of Jedi... not to try to force the Jedi thing so into the Tao, but there is a reaching out thing that one can do.
There's active as well as passive forms of meditation and yoga, right? There are external practices that assist internal development. There are internal practices that assist with things that can be accomplished in the external world. So again, as within, so without.
Right.
As above, so below.
Right.
The ancient Greek philosophy from Hermes of Greece,
right?
Said that. So there's an interaction, between what's within and what's without, and where one begins, whether it's on the outside or the inside, really depends on where a person is and their level of understanding. For example, a person who's completely Western in their ideas, and a person who likes to talk a lot and do a lot, is really into doing. Now, how successful do you think are you going to be in trying to get a person like that to sit down, stop moving, close their eyes, not talk, and have nothing in their consciousness? The chances of that being successful are close to zero. I guarantee you.
Very tough for me personally to get to that point. Yes.
Much easier is, since their nature is to be more active, you go with what where the person is. You teach them an active form of moving meditation. Maybe yoga, where they're stretching and moving into postures, or Tai Chi or Kung Fu or karate or something. Something that is based on a lot of these same principles of like yin and yang and harmony and balance and so on, but you approach it from the position that it'll be more wu wei. They won't have to struggle so much to get there if you meet them halfway.
Right.
Rather than make them come all the way over to stillness and quietude and silence. It's not going to work.
Right. It's like the art of teaching is meet the student where they are.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so we have another of Luke meeting Rey where she is.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. Just breathe. Reach out with your feelings. What do you see?
The island. Life. Death and decay. That feeds new life. Warm. Cold. Peace. Violence.
And between it all,
Balance. And energy. A force.
and inside you.
Inside me. That same force.
And this is the lesson. That force does not belong to the Jedi. To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. Can you feel that?
So the idea in this, which is really interesting, is kind of in other Star Wars installments, the idea is, you know, the person is a Jedi and they're kind of born that way, or there's some kind of thing in the bloodline or whatever. But in this film, again, this isn't really a spoiler. In this film, it's kind of like this is accessible to everyone if they're just sensitive to it, is kind of the idea. And there's nothing more Taoist. She's, you know, what do you feel? The island, life, death and decay that feeds new life, warm, cold, peace, violence, and between it all, balance and energy.
Wow.
Like, hello, like
that came right out of the Tao Te Ching almost.
it ripped straight out of the Tao Te. Lao Tzu deserves, you know,
some writing credit here.
he deserves at least 1% of the film. You know,
we can call this episode, the Tao of Star Wars, right?
we should say that as descendants of Lao Tzu, we deserve some kind of payment for this. Maybe Ryan Johnson listens to this show. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, and then she goes on to say that it is within me and it is kind of without me, like, you know, as we were just saying, and has this experience. And, you know, it's a weird thing when not that many people know about Taoism, but what a perfect vehicle to show people, you know, exactly what this Tao is all about, is through things like this, and have it just so blatant in one of the hugest pieces of pop culture.
Absolutely.
Is a beautiful thing.
Of course, we know that going back, that George Lucas definitely did his homework.
Oh yeah,
you know, going all the way back to the beginning of the series.
Yes,
you know, we know he was really into, you know, reading, you know, a lot of the ancient literature. You know, whether it was things from the ancient samurai as well as you know Buddhist, Taoist literature. So that seed has germinated over these many years and is infused really within this amazing series.
Yeah,
you know, that has made billions and talking about billions and billions of revenue.
Oh yeah,
and will continue, I'm sure, into the foreseeable future.
Oh yes, there'll be, by the time my kid's a teenager, there'll be 70 Star Wars films of varying quality.